Hello, everybody. This is Marty of the JavaScript Party. I'm my buddy Rhett, and it's Saturday morning. We're writing some code. I just gave her that nut. I think it's a bit suspect, bit suspectful because it kind of looked like it might have been like the net was already open. It was kind of um, man, there's like a huge gap lag in my video down there, but yeah, it's a little suspicious because the nut was already open a little bit. So I am like just in a rabbit hole again of just deep rabbit hole of like trying to figure out um delete. And while I was walking my dogs this morning, I realized that I had actually like completely poison pilled this application because the like one of the just absolutely like has to happen, absolutely positively has to happen is that I have to be able to export and import. Like that was to me the most frustrating thing in the world in the last application that I built because I couldn't save out or bring in like I would do a bunch of work and build a really cool visualization um and then I couldn't save it. And so it was like, you know, a bummer. So now that has to happen. Well, the way I had done my visualizations, um, like there was no way that you can save that visualization, right? Like you can't. How do you save a uh, a three renderer? You know, how do you save an ST visualization, the whole ST object? You can. It's easy to export a render, a number or a string or a boolean, but you can't. It's very, very difficult to export an actual straight up, like serialize a straight up object and export. So yeah, I needed to do this anyways. But and I don't know what is going on here. Like it's been trying to build for a while. Um, maybe it's because of this. But anyway, so I am going through the process of like refactoring away from my objects, my ST objects having um, references to other objects. There's only going to have an ID, and then if I need a reference to the other object, then I have to ask the whatever the manager of that object is. I will give it an ID and it'll return it. Now, something gets a little tricky, and I can't figure out exactly what to do because this is sort of my first time down this path. But I want to recycle IDs as well because I can visualize, I can imagine having millions of like different things coming in and out of existence, and I don't want to run out of IDs. And I have worked on projects where we got created so many IDs that we ran out of IDs. So I don't want to do that. So I want to recycle IDs. So then if I delete something like render ID one and I create a new render and I have something that's using that ID, like it somehow has to know that I'm have to come up with some sort of scheme for rendering IDs properly. I mean, for knowing if I'm if the one that I'm expecting back has changed. So I see in here, I don't know why. Oh, looks like it did finally finish. It was taking forever. Um, but I see here I have like this red thing that's telling me that I have something broken in here. And basically, it's upset here because my ST renderer no longer supports ID, no longer supports numbers. Um, so ST camera, let's see, dot ST camera ID. Now I don't know why it's still complaining. What are you complaining about? Oh, did I? Oh, and I changed the name. Okay, okay. So that issue fixed, but I have like another issue here. Um, and basically what I want to do is when I want to call a function that will return this 3 camera, but I don't. So that's an interesting thing because yeah. Uh, oh, okay, yeah, because oh, I don't know exactly what to do about that. So this is okay because so this is like a problem because I'm not, and I'm thinking ahead. Um, I'm too far ahead at this point. But the problem is the ST renderer won't have a camera, a 3 camera, and this ST camera I don't think will have a 3 camera either. I think the 3 camera will have a 3 camera. So and then and I think it's fine. It's okay for like all the different. I'm trying to think from an architectural perspective. I have like kind of 2 sides of this application. One is the ST side, and one is the 3 side. And there's a bunch of reasons why I did that. But I think it's okay for anything from ST to ask for anything from the 3 service directly. But I don't think I want anything in the component to ask for anything in the 3 side. I don't think maybe, I don't know. Let's move on. But then I think this is a deeper problem, and that's this. Uh, I have a get 3 camera. Okay, and I think that makes sense actually. I think that's exactly what I want. Um, but um, this thing is taking an ST renderer, and I don't want it to take an ST renderer. I want it to take a ST renderer ID, and and then I want it to go to this ST renderer, which is the service, which is where I'm at, and I want it to get the ST camera, and then I want it to somehow get the 3 camera. Well, I guess we have to do it step by step. So basically, this needs to be an ID, which is going to break all kinds of stuff too. So this is actually going to be quite the fun or challenging task because um, trying to, because a bunch of things are going to break, and then other things need to be like at the same time, and they need to sort of be fixed in parallel, but I can only work synchronously. So we're going to change that to a number. So everybody calling this is going to, we still want it to return an ST perspective camera or undefined, but we do want it to take this number and get the proper. Oh, no, no, no. Well, I guess what we want to do is we want to get the ST renderer, and then once we have the ST renderer, we want to get the camera. ST camera from the camera service, the camera service. Whoo, that's a lot. That's a lot to try to figure out in your head. So const. So we are going to create a constant, and we're going to create a reference, and it's going to be an ST renderer, and it is going to be of type ST renderer, and it is going to equal, and I guess it's okay to go straight to the or it could be an undefined. And it's okay to go, I believe we have like a dictionary up here that has all of our renderers in it. See, our ST renderer dictionary, and I'm pretty sure it holds it by ID, I hope. We are really, I'm walking on eggshells here because I think there's a good chance, I mean, there is a possibility that I'm going to botch this so bad that we might have to just start from scratch. And I don't want to start from scratch. I want to actually, even if this ends up being like, okay, I have to throw this away and all that, I want to learn the lessons that I can learn. But it's this dot s It's a dictionary, right? Dictionary, strender dictionary. And I believe we put brackets around it. Oops. Gotta hold the shift button up. Ooh, my goodness. Oh my gosh. There we go. And we want to use our strender ID. And what this will do is this will get, this is a reference to the object that's sitting in this dictionary. And this reference will be automatically deleted the second it gets to the end, to this return statement. It will no longer exist. The reference will be deleted. I'm gonna have to think that out loud to myself at least 1,000 times, probably at least like maybe 200 times, and then it'll just become like muscle memory. Now an ST renderer, so basically we want to create a 3 perspective camera or undefined reference. Since 3 camera, which can either be one of these things, and at first it's going to be the undefined. And I don't know why it's, I guess we'll set it to undefined, and then that's what we're going to return. Now this function is happy. Anything that was calling this function is not happy because it was sending in an actual ST renderer object instead of an ST renderer ID. Renderer. Okay, now if this ST renderer exists, right? Like I don't know if it may or may not be in the dictionary. It may have been deleted. And see, this is where maybe I don't want to recycle. Yeah, I don't know. I do want to recycle. I really do want to recycle IDs, but it's like, how will I know if this is? It's like I almost need to add like a time or something in there. Let's just see if it even becomes an issue. It may not never become an issue. So, but if strender exists, right, then we want to const. And so this is a const. So this, we're creating a reference, and it's a primitive reference, so it's not that big of a deal, and it will be destroyed at the end of this bracket, at the end of this block. Right, we've hardly been in here at all, girl. Hey, girl. All right, so we want to create a ID. We want to get a, skip this file. So what we want to do is we want to actually create a reference to a primitive that is a number. And it is the 3 camera. I know, I think it's the ST camera ID, right? Is equal to ST renderer ST camera ID. Now we want a 3 camera. So right now, and we're going to have to come back and fix this again in a minute, but oh well, I suspect a 3 camera, an ST camera has a ThreeJS camera on it, which is not what I want there to be. But we can come over here and look at our interfaces. Love you too. See, we have a 3 camera that may or may not be there. And see over there, I'd actually thought about, oh, okay, one day I'm going to want to be able to import one of these things. And so I don't want to make this required, but I want to change this to a camera ID. I don't want this to have, I don't want this three perspective camera to have any more references than at all possible. And I definitely don't want like long living references anymore. Like that's something I'm that's the whole point of this right now. I'm trying to get rid of that, but I already have one and I can't fix it all at one time. But I think we can get a ST camera, and we can get that from this dot. I'm guessing I have my ST camera service. Yeah. Dot get camera by ID. And then we're going to give it my ST camera ID that I just got. And then with that, we can get our 3 camera. And it's okay for 3 camera to be undefined. But maybe I have to do this. It's so weird because 3 camera can be undefined. Oh, so we can change this to a let. We have to change it to a let because we want to redefine it. There we go. Oh, and that's probably why I had a problem before, is because I was trying to create a const and not assigning it anything, which doesn't make any sense. But the let will also be destroyed the second we hit or will be the reference itself will be destroyed as soon as we get to that. And I don't think the reference technically gets destroyed. I think what happens is the reference gets pointed to null, and then any references that point to null get destroyed. But that's different than the object being destroyed. So, you got to keep that in mind. All right. Hey, girl. Okay. So I don't think we need this comment anymore. Probably should do myself a little bit of favor in the future and type this need to be updated when 3 camera doesn't it. I think that in the future when I get to this line, or when I have to refactor for this, which that'll actually help me be like, oh, okay, I'm this makes sense. What I'm doing makes sense right now. That's all I'm trying to do is kind of help my future self. So this function is good now, but we still have issues because I still see red things up here. Okay, st renderer dot st renderer ID, right? This is weird. So it's saying that it doesn't want. That is so weird because because okay, what am I doing? Okay, so I'm updating the aspect ratio for height. So and it's saying, look, you can't do this. You can't. It's not going to let me pass in undefined because I'm not willing to accept undefined over here. Now, should I accept undefined? Is that the right thing to do? Change this to undefined? I think so. I don't know. I don't know. I might regret that. I just don't know. We are literally in all my decades of experience in doing this, I've never gone down this path before. This is a fresh path for me. All right, so So now it's like, hey, you can't pass in an undefined to this dictionary. All right. So I think that, yeah, this is the better way to go about. So this thing, the job of this thing is to update an aspect ratio. But if the ST renderer doesn't exist anymore, then we don't want to do any of that anyways. So, and this is kind of part of it. So if ST renderer, so we only want to do this if ST renderer exists. And if the ST renderer exists, I don't think we yeah, want to set that updated to true in there. And And yeah, so basically updated will be false if ST renderer ID is. So if you try to update the aspect ratio by ID width and height, so if you try to update that and it doesn't exist, it's not going to do it. It's just going to be like, yeah, the ST renderer doesn't exist. It doesn't do it, and it's going to return a false. I think that is perfect. Okay. Now, render by ID, same exact deal. If we do not want to try to render this if the renderer ID doesn't exist. So we want to change this to a Boolean. And we want to set it to false by default. We're going to call it rendered equals false. This feels right. Things don't always feel right, but it feels like this feels like a good way to do something like this. Rendered. And now we only want to, then we want to try to get our renderer. Right, so we're going to look in our dictionary, try to get our renderer. We're creating we are creating a reference to this renderer, to this object, but this renderer, this reference will be pointed to null as soon as it gets to this return. So we don't have to worry about that. And like I said, I'm just going to keep saying that over and over and over again until it just sort of feels natural to me. So we only want to do this way. Now we know that we have a function down here that we just did that gets, I think it'll get a 3 camera. Yeah. Yeah, get 3 camera for ST renderer ID. Get 3 camera. I really should change the name of that. Right, that's because I think the name of this is, oh, okay. Or undefined. Okay, so this is, we need to change the name of this and say by st renderer, yeah, ID. Oh my gosh. Now that's going to break a bunch of stuff. But that was confusing up there. Get three camera, and I wouldn't be able to tell what I was getting it by. So we got stuff broken all over the place. There we go. Which, that's interesting. Oh, did I decide? I thought I decided not to go with. I wonder why that's not failing. Oh, because, yeah, we don't even need that question mark there. Because we checked to see if there was a renderer. So that seems to be happy now. So basically, if and then we don't even need that. Because we already know, we already checked for st render. So basically, if 3 camera, then do this stuff. Oof. All right, save that, and then see. All right, same story. Okay, so here we're trying to render. We're checking to see that we have an st renderer. 3 scene. So yeah, we're going to end up having to do the exact same thing for scene in the near future. But for now, we're only working on camera. So we don't want to get 3 camera. Oh, okay. Did I think I have this in my clipboard. Yep. 3 camera, and then think about how to add logic that sends the stored AR instead of the element width and height. I don't remember what that's about, but I'm going to leave that. So we should only do this if there's a 3 camera. So I guess that comment should go in there. Three camera. I wouldn't be surprised if we come up with sort of a better way to do that. But for now, that's how we're doing that. And only if all these things are true. Oh man, this is just going to be a freaking bunch of new unit tests. Are going to be needed to deal with this. And only in those 2 cases is do we set render to true. So let's save that. Are we going to compile? I don't know. I don't know. Get camera by ID. Okay, so, oh, see, our animation service has issues. So let's go to our animation service. All right, so this is a good one. This is something that's been worrying me. So basically, we do not want this to run this if the camera, if the renderer doesn't exist anymore, right? So, and here we're checking to see if it's deleted, but you know what? We don't care about that because basically only if the renderer exists. Oh, but see, this is where we end up with a. Oof. See, we have a reference here to our renderer that we need to get rid of. But this renderer service, render, man, I just don't. We don't want this thing to run. And so I'm actually going to say, if the render is deleted, this is a problem, and we're going to have to deal with it. Else, error trying to render a deleted renderer. If we have that issue, if this happens, if it's deleted and we're here, we're going to have to figure out how to make that not happen anymore. All right. So the renderer exists, but we only want to do any of this. And so we should never even be able to get into here because maybe, who knows. But if we get I think we should. This is such a good issue. I'm really glad we're running into this right now. Okay, so at this point we're assuming that the render exists, and I would really much rather this be, yeah, create animation function for ID. I really would rather this be a number, and but I mean, that is a battle for another day. All right, so what are we doing here? Okay, so we cannot get we should never ever get here if the camera doesn't exist, but we cannot get a three perspective camera from. Okay, we do we have the camera ID? We do, right? The ST. Hmm. Renderer ID is equal to, and I don't even know if we have access to the, oh no, we do have access to the renderer service. Is equal to st renderer dot st renderer ID, and then in there, const. Gosh, I wonder if this is even going to work. Okay, this camera. Okay, so basically it's this one. All right, and we're gonna have to do it this way, this 3 camera, because we're trying to get the 3 camera, right? So dot equals st renderer this dot st renderer service. Is it? Oh, that's the 3 renderer service. Do I have the st renderer service over here? See, I have the renderer service, not the st renderer service. And I'm trying to sort of like limit, I really should be dealing with the st renderer service, I think. But it does have a camera ID. So, so I have to use it. St renderer. I mean, I think at some point this is wrong too, but Oh, it doesn't even have. It has an ST camera ID, but not the camera. What was I doing? I used to have the camera. All right, so actually I have no choice but to try to fix this now. All right, so can I inject? I remember having a problem with, I remember having a problem at some point having a problem with importing certain things. I could never figure out how to get it to import certain things. I'm wondering if this is one of those, but it is. Okay, so actually, what am I doing? So ST camera ID. So, oh, because I actually already have the camera ID. But it is weird because I get, yeah, this seems screwed up because this is the three side, because it doesn't have ST in front of it, and apparently it, oh, yeah, that's right. That is the linkage. It does have a camera ID over there. An ST camera ID over there. So I guess that does make sense. All right, hit save. Oh, we were able to successfully. Let's just see. So all indications are that everything is working fine. Um, we did a pretty intense refactor there. That was the first one. The first one's probably going to be the hardest. Not always, but it's usually the hardest. So I think the next step is to, yeah, well, we definitely have to. We have lost um, various. We have lost some code coverage for sure. Um, and then see this, I think has to be a void. We're gonna maybe hopefully we can do something along the lines of breaking this out into a function, into its own little function in here, um, so that I can unit test this stuff. That's going to be tricky. And then we definitely have some branches that are not unit tested over here. So that'll be like kind of the next step will be to get the unit tests up back up to 100%, and then get the and just double check that nothing was broken on the end-to-end tests. Um, just there's just no telling. Um, at this point, to me, it seems like we've done that. Oh, I'm curious though. Let's see, F12, F12. Are we now trying to? Nope. So we aren't. We actually did effectively delete that. Um, we for the animation service, we are not attempting to animate the broken one, which is pretty awesome. And it looks like we didn't even do it one time. So that's really good. That makes me happy. Um, but yeah, so next is a round of unit test stuff, which definitely I'm confident that we're no longer at 100%. And we'll probably have to do a bit of a refactor for the unit tests on the animate in the animation service. And then makes me a little nervous that, oh yeah, the only thing that isn't saved was that white space change. I don't think we'll have any changes in the end-to-end tests though, but we'll make sure they all pass, do a commit, and then I think we have to start at the top again here and do the exact same thing for scene, and then the same thing for visualization, and then um, for calculated values. I don't think calculated, actually, I don't think calculated, I think calculated values was there just to be helpful during calculation, but I guess we probably should have a calculated value ID. And so, yeah, we'll probably, and for calculated values. Well, this is it though. Calculated values. Yeah, so we'll probably need to have a calculated value service and set up IDs, and so that because we're trying to avoid having these um, having multiple references. But it kind of seems like this is the only reference to the calculated values. So maybe it makes sense that, yeah, maybe because it only has, this is the only thing that would ever, like, I am not sharing calculated values between different things. So I guess it makes total sense to not have to do like a service and an ID and everything for it, because once this is deleted, the ST render is deleted, it is the calculated values don't don't exist anymore. There's no other reference. The only reference to this to a calculated value is this one reference. If I start making other references to the calculated values, then I probably need to make sure that they get deleted. But anyways, that is that. This is gonna take a while. This is gonna definitely. I'm confident this is probably gonna take the rest of the year. Um, but it is, and it's quite painful and not very fun. Um, but I think it has to be done. Again, if nothing else, even if without all this stupid like academic sort of having all these references and memory leaks and all that, there's no way that I could export and import an ST renderer the way I have this. I could definitely export a scene, a number, the ID, and then what that would mean is, like, let's say I exported it and then I could go find that ID in the JSON and tweak the scene or whatever, make my own changes to it. But the way I have this now, there's no freaking way that I'll be able to export, and I don't want to do this if I can't export and import. That was heartbreaking in the last application. So um, it's interesting that I don't need ST camera anymore. I guess that makes sense, and that's a good thing. So let's go ahead and get rid of that too. Save. Yeah. So yeah, when this is all done, ST visualization and scene will be gone, and probably three too, because I do not want the three renderer to be in here. Yeah, I don't think I want the three renderer to be in here, so I may have to. We'll see. It's kind of wild because I don't know why I thought. I guess maybe. See, that just shows how ignorant I was. Because I think what I was thinking is, oh, okay, when I export this thing, it will have the three in the scene in it, which would have been very, very difficult to deal with if there was more than one scene in more than one visualization in one more than one render. And maybe, yeah, see, and that's the whole idea. Idea is that maybe the visualization may not, I may never have more than one. Yeah, I think this is a one-to-one relationship between visualization and renderer, but scene, I definitely know that isn't a one. And camera was definitely not a one-to-one relationship. So yeah, what was I going to do? I was going to have like this giant JSON with duplicate ones all the way all over the place. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, I think this was a poison pill that would have led me to absolutely shut the whole project down once I got the hooks too deep in this system. So that is that. Yeah, it's no fun. You know, it's kind of a bummer. Uh, I don't feel bad about making long, boring videos about this because, like, this is the reality of being a software developer. you make mistakes. Sometimes you make mistakes and then you have to fix them. And if you don't fix them, they just get worse a lot of times. And this is going to be a pain in the butt. It's probably going to take me months to undo the damage that I've done here. But um, in like if I worked on this for another year and did not undo this damage now, in a year it wouldn't have even been feasible to fix this issue. So this is absolutely critical that I fix this at this point. With the memory leak stuff, I don't know. I was just like, I'm thinking, well, maybe technology will take care of it. The world around me, the browser stuff, who knows, like might take care of any of that kind of stuff. But the export import, that was going to be a death knell for this project. So I'm glad now that this is probably the first day where I'm like, okay, I'm actually glad we ran into this problem because it is fixable at this point. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.